Get unlimited access to all of our CPE courses at www.teachucomp.com/unlimited CPE.
In this lesson, we'll look at review questions 13 through 15. Let's begin with review question number 13. Joe is an accountant. His client, Mary, emails Joe asking for his opinion on a federal tax deduction that she would like to claim. In his response to Mary, Joe should be sure to mention the possibility that A. Mary might face penalties if she fraudulently claims the deduction and is subsequently audited by the IRS. B. With or without the deduction, Mary's tax return is unlikely to be audited. C. Even if Mary's tax return is audited, the specific deduction Mary is asking about may not be questioned. Or D. If the deduction in question is raised as an issue during an audit, the issue would likely be resolved through a settlement agreement. The correct answer is A. Joe must inform Mary of any penalties that are reasonably likely to apply to Mary with respect to a position taken on Mary's tax return if Joe prepared, signed, or advised Mary with respect to the tax return. Now let's take a look at review question number 14. Joe is a CPA. Mary, his client, is an artist. While preparing Mary's tax return, Joe notices that Mary has not declared any income from freelance commissions. Joe knows that Mary was paid to paint a portrait of a local doctor during the past year. True or false? Joe is ethically required to ask Mary about this income before completing her tax preparation. The correct answer is true. Joe must make reasonable inquiries of Mary if the information Mary furnished appears to be incorrect, inconsistent with an important fact, or incomplete. Now let's take a look at review question number 15. Joe is a former employee of the Internal Revenue Service who qualified as an enrolled agent 6 months ago. Joe recently began working for the private accounting firm Smith & Smith. Which of the following statements is true? A. As an employee of Smith & Smith, Joe may represent any client before the IRS, even if the client intends to contest a matter in which the United States government has a direct interest. B. As an employee of Smith & Smith, Joe may assist Mary in fighting a tax penalty before the IRS, even if Joe, during his time as an employee of the IRS, worked on the audit which resulted in Mary's penalty. C. Smith & Smith may represent Mary as she fights a tax penalty, even if Joe, during his time as an employee of the IRS, worked on the audit which resulted in Mary's penalty, provided that Smith & Smith isolate Joe in such a way that Joe cannot participate in Mary's representation. Or D. Smith & Smith may not represent Mary as she fights a tax penalty because Joe, as an employee of Smith & Smith, has direct knowledge of Mary's case situation due to his former employment with the IRS. The correct answer is C. Smith & Smith may represent Mary as long as the firm isolates Joe in such a way that Joe cannot assist in the representation.
Like what you see? Get unlimited access to all of our CPE courses at www.teachucomp.com/unlimited CPE.